All right, it is 9 o'clock tonight. It's Tuesday. That means it's time for another Get Off My Lawn podcast. So, welcome everybody. I am your host, John Anderson. You might know me as Sandhills Shooter. You might know me as some guy with a big mouth and a microphone on the internet. I don't care. It's all good. But we are hanging out tonight. We don't have a big panel yet. We had three. Now we're down to just two, but hopefully we get a few more people in here. I sent the links out to join the room later tonight than I normally do, so we'll see who jumps in here as we go along. But for now, we've got Nebraska still fairly well represented, so we're good to go tonight. We might just have a Nebraska-centric chat. We'll just have to see what happens here. So real quick, we'll just let Pat say hi. How you doing tonight?
Hi, Pat. How you doing tonight?
I see no Lily tonight, just you.
Yeah, sorry, no Lily tonight. She conked out way early today, and Mama's not home. And yeah, they were over at their grandma and grandpa's, and they are wore out.
Well, good. That's a good thing.
Yep.
So Mom's not home either. So does that mean that nobody's going to be reaching in from off camera and distracting you tonight and messing with you?
Well, not yet anyway, but she is due home at any minute.
Oh,
I got to watch my back.
Nice. Okay, cool. Just checking. All right, let's see who we've got out there in the chat sides, and just keep in mind if you're watching this live, go ahead and drop those comments in the chat section there, either down below or off to the side, depending on how you're looking at us. But if you're out there, especially on YouTube, and you're not dropping those comments, then we can't see you. We cannot say hello. Who do we have out there? Frankie was out there first on the YouTube side. Gun Loving Grandpa's in the house. MKJO. Blitz is here. Poor Conservative. Who else came in? Mike is here. Pat's out there and in here. Two Live Moo. We've got more people coming in all the time. So yeah, get those comments out there. I am kind of flying solo tonight. Sandhills Sweetheart is not over in the producer's chair where she normally is. She's actually she did go to work today, and she's not feeling sick. She just didn't have the energy to stay up and do this and then go to bed late. So she went to bed, and she's going to follow along and be out there as much as she can anyway until she conks out. So she may be with us in the chat. She may not be, but I think we're going to get along okay without her, at least for one night. But speaking of Sandhills Sweetheart, I do want to take this time just to shout out Black Swan Tactical. And let me just put that up on the screen here. For those of you who haven't yet seen this, we do have a full line now of t-shirts. We've got hats, we've got mugs, and I'm just going to, I didn't pull this up ahead of time, but let me just do that real quick here since we've got some time. We're going to just put this up on the screen. I'm going to show some of this stuff off. Share screen, pick a tab. Where'd it go? That one right there. So this is the blackswantactical.com/collections/sandhills.shooter is how you get to this. Just go to blackswantactical.com and go to the collections, and then you'll find the Team Sandhills collection. But you can see we've got more than just hats and stickers up right now. We've got some new t-shirts. We've got some new hoodies up here. And I actually I'll show one of these. It did come in the mail today. But this t-shirt is now available. And just to help support her in her battle with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and lime green is the color of the ribbon to support that. So it comes in lots of different colors, but on the back is this graphic with the ribbon on there. Says "Her fight is my fight" on the front, just the Sandhills Shooter logo. You can get all kinds of colors. We've got orange, and we've got I'm not sure what color, dark gray, and maybe that's a dark gray. I don't even know what all these colors are named. There's a light pink. There's a that looks red, but I think it's actually more of a brighter pink if I saw it on my phone. Anyway, these are up here, and I wanted to show a couple of these designs. Her fight is my fight. Not today, Cancer. There are hats now available. You can get the trucker style or the regular twill. We have ladies t-shirts up. We've got hoodies. We've got mugs that say both designs on them. So just all kinds of cool stuff that you can get now, along with the regular hats and the stickers. And I don't know who wears the flat bills, but if somebody out there likes that kind of thing, then there's one of those for you too. But I did want to show this off. Crumpy has been busy, and he's gotten a lot of these designs up, all the while knowing that the inevitable was coming. And we do want to just express our condolences to his family. Crumpy has a niece who I think she was about 8 years old and was fighting brain cancer. And she did succumb to the brain cancer. She did pass. And so we just want to express our sympathies, our condolences. It doesn't feel like enough just to say how sorry we are that happened and that the family had to go through that. But I mean, we're just too far away. I can't really do a whole lot else. I can't offer hugs. I'm a hugger, but can't do that. So in the meantime, Crumpy, if you catch this, just know that we care and we love you and your family, and let them know that people they've never even heard of care about them and are praying for them. So, all right. So let's stop that and we'll come back over here. And then real quick, I'm just going to make this full screen again. Let me get this off the screen. I want to show this shirt off because this is really cool. This is a nice, soft shirt, and I think it's just 100% cotton. I'm not sure. Let's see. No, cotton polyester blend. All right. So on the front, you've got the Sandhills shooter logo on the left chest, and then on the back, you've got the big logo. I just wanted to show off how good that actually looks. So this is the Her Fight is My Fight, and you can see it's sized to fit me. But we've got some other stuff coming. It's not all coming in one order. So it's being delivered from multiple different places depending on what you order and what size and all that. So it's still the orders all still filtering in. And I did find out from another friend that their shirts did come today as well. So that was kind of cool to hear about that also. But you can get all that on blackswantactical.com. If you want to catch us on the audio only version, or somebody else who says, hey, I like listening to podcasts, I don't like watching YouTube or like watching on Facebook, then you can do a couple different things. The first one is just go to anchor.fm and search for us. But and from Anchor, you can get to most of the other places where we are up on audio form. You can get to the Apple version, the Google version, Spotify. Quite a few of them are up there available, or you can just listen right through Anchor. One that's not listed there that I did get notified here about a week ago was that we're now up on iHeartRadio as well. So that's really cool. So you can go to any of those places and just search the Get Off My Lawn podcast or search Sandhills Shooter. Either way, those should bring you right to all the episodes. All the episodes that are available. And last week's episode should be up and live on most of those places. I know it's up and live on Anchor. It should have come up last night. So yeah. Well, before we get into a whole lot of other stuff, I do want to thank this week's sponsor. They are partly who makes it possible for me to go live on YouTube and Facebook at the same time, because StreamYard isn't free if you want to do two things at once. And so with the help of these sponsors, we were able to get a year's worth of the pro version of StreamYard so that we can multi-stream, and we're very grateful. So this week's episode is sponsored by Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Riding Shotgun with Charlie is a great interview show that brings you right into the heart of intimate conversations where you can be a fly on the rearview mirror. The show's host, Charlie Cook, talks freedom, firearms, and anything related with guests from all over the country. filmed within the safe confines of Charlie's stagecoach. Passengers open up about their lives and what is on their mind. Riding Shotgun with Charlie is available on YouTube, Gunstreamer, and the OpsLens app, and most popular podcast platforms. Visit Charlie on the web at ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com. And we'll put that right there. And be sure to check out his cool swag page with all new Riding Shotgun with Charlie t-shirts, stickers, patches, and more. And I always like to point out that I'm not riding shotgun with Charlie, but with the sticker up here, Charlie's riding shotgun with me. And then you can also get the Gungram stickers. I don't know if those are on the same website, but Charlie does some Gungrams, and they're very cool. And you need to look those up as well when we get done here. If you've never seen one of those, he actually goes out to the range, takes his trumpet with him, and plays a song on one hand, and then fires his Glock with the other hand to help punctuate the music as he's playing along. And there's some really cool songs up on that. So go check Charlie out, the Gungrams, and Riding Shotgun with Charlie. He's got some cool stuff coming, some big names coming up here that he has either has filmed or is about to film, and those will be coming out. Just keep an eye on that. So thanks, Charlie, for your help, your generosity. We are very, very grateful to you. All right, I think that's all the stuff that I was going to mention. So you know what? Let's just pull that off of there too. We'll come back over here, see what's going on. Hey, Vandal's in the house. I didn't see you out there. What's up, buddy? I have not seen Vandalistica vlogs in forever. So very, very cool. I don't know what the temperature is in Brisbane, but we are about 5 below here on the Fahrenheit scale in northeast Nebraska where I'm living. Pat, what did you say was the temperature there?
Yeah, if I can get it on mute. The temp right now is a balmy -8.
Ooh, so it's even colder further south. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the fun of living right on a river bottom.
Right? There you go. There you go. I'm a little bit off the river up here. Vandal says he's taking lunch. So cool. Very glad that you are that you're at sweaty degrees there. That's awesome. All right. Well, it is getting close to summertime, I guess, where Vandal is, or I guess it's the middle of summer now, isn't it? Or I can't keep track of my seasons. Let's see. Yeah, summer be in full swing, wouldn't it? Anyway, Defense Dad's out there in the chat. He's not going to make it into the panel because he's got dad detail and homework is more important, and I agree. So very, very cool. You can play with your friends later. Helping the youngin with her homework, that always is going to trump playing with friends, and I get that. So real quick here, we're going to talk a little bit about sheepdogs and the like, and then there's a few other things that I want to mention, and this one probably isn't going to last as long as a lot of the episodes do, partly because I don't know how much we're really going to be able to dig into this concept, especially with just two of us, but also partly because Sandhills Sweetheart isn't the only one who's kind of worn out tonight. So I don't mind if we cut this one a little bit short. And Pat, you said that you've kind of had a long day too. So we will see where the night takes us and just kind of go from there. So real quick here, there is a quote, and if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, either one, if you can see the post that I made or the description in the video on the YouTube side, then you can see that quote. But I'm going to read this real quick. This is from the movie American Sniper, and this was Ben Reed was playing Chris Kyle's dad, Wayne Kyle, and played by Ben Reed. And he says this, and I believe this is actually at the beginning of the movie, if I'm not mistaken. It's been too long since I've seen it. I've only watched it once. I've only seen the beginning once. I've come in halfway through it several times when it's on TV, but I just finally got the Blu-ray, and so now I can sit down and watch the whole thing without any commercials. It's going to be nice. But anyway, the quote goes, "There are 3 types of people in this world: sheep, wolves, and sheepdogs. Some people prefer to believe that evil doesn't exist in the world, and if it ever darkened their doorstep, they wouldn't know how to protect themselves. Those are the sheep. Then you've got predators. who use violence to prey on the weak. They're the wolves. And then there are those blessed with the gift of aggression, an overpowering need to protect the flock. These men are the rare breed who live to confront the wolf. They are the sheepdog. Now, I agree with everything that was said there, but I would like to respectfully submit that there is a fourth type of person in the world, and I think that I fall into that category. And the reason that I say that is when you talk about people who are actually the sheepdogs, I'm thinking military, I'm thinking police, and we're not going to get into the discussion tonight about how the police have no legal obligation to protect anyone. We can cover that a different time. But by and large, most police departments still have somewhere in their crest to protect and to serve, right? And so when it comes to, one of the figurative packs of wolves come snarling at the door, then you call in the sheepdogs, right? You call in the police. If the door, the pack of wolves growling at the door is a foreign threat, then we call in the military, right? And so we've got soldiers, sailors, Marines, all the branches are trained to protect our borders and keep our country free. So those really are sheepdogs in my mind. Those are the ones who they have chosen to go out and protect the flock, whether it's from outside threats or threats locally. And so I agree that there are sheepdogs out there. I definitely agree that there are sheep and there are wolves, right? So I don't argue with that. But I don't fall into, I don't think, the category of sheep. I definitely am not a wolf. And I don't think I'm a sheepdog either, because I don't think it's my job to protect society. I don't think it's my job to protect the flock. And the only way that I could be a sheepdog is if you say that my flock is only my family. So when I say that I'm not a sheepdog, what I'm talking about is it's no secret that I'm a licensed concealed carrier. I have a Nebraska CHP, and I am legal to carry a concealed handgun on my person in all places that aren't prohibited, right? We have to throw that little disclaimer in there.
Yes.
So if I'm out in public minding my own business and somebody decides that they want to start something and, I'm an imminent threat of death or severe bodily injury or kidnapping or sexual assault, then I have the legal right to defend myself and anybody with me with the use up to and including deadly force, right? That's what Nebraska law states. And so while I may be some type of canine, I don't think I'm a sheepdog, because I don't think it's my responsibility to go around my neighborhood looking for crime. I'm not neighborhood watch. I'm not a security guard. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a soldier or any other military person. I'm just me. I'm just a guy that wants to be left alone. And if I get left alone, then I'm never going to be a problem for anybody. And so I think that the fourth category that I want to add to that are the sleeping dogs. Let sleeping dogs lie, right? That's an old saying. We've all heard that one. Just let the sleeping dogs lie. If you don't go poke them with a stick, they don't bite. They're content to just be left alone. They'll leave you alone if you don't bug them. So I think that way more people than within our community than not, I think they're more sleeping dogs than they are sheepdogs. Although I've never heard it explained this way before. I've thought about this for a long time, and I remember the first time I watched American Sniper, and I first heard that, and I'd never heard it before, and I thought, gosh, that's really cool. And as I'm going through and I got my concealed carry permit. It's been almost 5 years ago. I just sent in the form to renew it. So it's been several years now. But the more I think about it, and the longer that I carry a firearm with me legally, I don't want to ever have to pull it. I'm not looking for an excuse to shoot somebody. I'm not looking to be Batman or Frank Castle or Paul Kersey, for those of you old enough to remember Death Wish. I'm not looking to do any of that. So I guess that's my thought. What do you think about that?
Oh, I totally agree. I have a small flock, and that is the flock I will protect. My family, any part of my family will be protected, but if two biker guys are in a parking lot beating the snot out of each other, and am I going to go over there and step and get in the middle of that? No.
Mm-mm.
And
even if they are beating the snot out of each other, unless one of them is about to kill the other one with blunt trauma, then you've got no dog in that fight, right? As a concealed carrier, you don't go in and pull your gun on somebody and brandish your firearm because there's a bare knuckle fist fight going on.
Exactly. I mean, and let's put it in another perspective here. Let's say some lady, some woman is putting groceries in her car in a local Walmart, and somebody tries to rob her or something. Say it's late at night and there's not a lot of people around, or in any parking lot for that matter, and you happen to be there. I would like to think I would try to step in and do something about it, but until that situation comes about, I really don't know what somebody would do like that. But as far as the flock and the sheep goes, yeah, I would probably pretty much have to just stick to me and my flock as far as that goes. I'm not going to go running around trying to look for danger or people being hurt or harassed or in any other forms. So, yeah, I would have to agree with you on that.
And it's one of those things where, I mean, a huge determining factor in a situation like that is whether or not I'm alone. Because if I've got my flock with me, then they are my number one priority. And if I can get them out of the situation and get them to safety, then that's what I will opt to do. And if I can save somebody else's life who's not part of my flock at the same time, I will do so, but not at the expense of endangering my wife or anybody else who's with me. It just comes down simple as that. The reason that I carry is upstairs right now, not feeling the most energy, and I'm not even seeing her out there in the chat, so she's probably already in bed asleep. But honestly, she's the number one reason why I carry, and I do it when she's not around too, but it's more habit than anything at this point. But I do see a couple comments and questions out there that I want to get to, but before I do, I want to throw this one in there too, because let's say that and I've actually heard this example used by a concealed carry instructor before, because again, it's not something I had thought about until I heard this. But let's say you're in the gas station, and it's late, it's after dark. You come out of the gas station, you walk around the corner, and off the side of the building, you can see one person lying on the ground and another person standing over them holding a firearm, holding a gun and pointing it at them. Now, it would be probably within the legal description of justifiable force, right, to draw your own weapon and engage them if you chose to do that, because Nebraska law does allow for us to protect somebody else from the same four instances: imminent death or serious bodily injury or kidnapping or sexual assault, rape. And so we would be justified in asserting ourselves into that situation in a case like this. But what I don't know about this situation is, before I came around the corner, the guy who is lying on the ground had come up to the guy who's holding the gun and tried to rob him, hit him on the back of the head, and was about to steal his car. And a scuffle ensued. The guy who owned the car threw the aggressor onto the ground and drew his firearm, and now he's holding that at that guy. That's the moment that I came around the corner, but I don't know any of that. So am I really justified in asserting myself into a situation when I don't know the facts, when I don't know the situation yet? I mean, I might ask what's going on, but at the very least, or in a situation like that, I'm probably going to be the one to call 911. I would hope that the person who was the victim of the attempted carjacking would be the one to say, hey, call 911, this guy just tried to rob me. But in a case like that, I'm not comfortable pulling a trigger without knowing that I'm actually pulling the trigger on the person that's actually doing the crime here. And so in a case like that, I mean, it's just, again, it goes back to I'm not Batman, and I'm not the Punisher, and I'm not a vigilante. So it's not my job to be the police here. And that's why we have police, and that's why we have people who are sworn in and have that legal authority to be that. So I'm going to find these comments while you, if you have anything you want to comment on that, Pat.
Yeah, that would be a really hard one for me to step into because you don't know. I didn't see it from start to finish. You don't know how exactly that scenario went down because he could have been the aggressor, and I mean, you just don't know. I mean, you're literally coming into a situation where it's almost wrapped up. So it's like,
right.
Okay, what did I just step on a landmine here, or
the
do
fact
I just
the fact that nobody knows what's going on who just walked up to that situation?
Exactly.
That's why when the police come, they're going to arrest everybody and then sort it out later. I mean, if you successfully defend yourself with a firearm, you will at least be handcuffed and taken into custody. Whether or not you're charged is a different story, but you're going to get processed as they're sorting people out. They're going to treat everybody like the potential aggressor or the potential victim, whatever is the case, because it's their job to get to the bottom of what happened and try to sort out, who's telling the truth and whose story is true. However,
Exactly.
that being the case, that's why everybody always says, if you do ever have to use your handgun and in a self-defense situation, when the police show up, be very compliant, just do what you're told, keep your mouth shut, and hopefully you've got a good attorney. And Moo, I did see your comment, so hold on, we'll get there. But first, Blitz had a comment that said, the mentality of sheepdog, especially from people that don't train at all, is concerning. Always came off as more of a danger to themselves and others to me. And excuse me, Blitz, I 100% agree with that. Anybody who's on social media, especially Facebook, I mean, if you're in any kind of groups with other gun owners, I mean, there's an overabundance of what I call bumper sticker language, people saying, all gun laws are unconstitutional or all gun laws are infringements, shall not be infringed, come and take it, lost them in a boating accident. These are all cool things to stick on a t-shirt or a bumper sticker. That's all they're really good for.
But don't call 911.
Right? There's also those people, and you can spot them in the groups who, they've got their permit to carry or whatever. They've got their their preferred method of carry and firearm and all that. And they just act like, it's their job to police the neighborhood. And now that I can legally carry, it's there better not be any crime go down on my block or something like that. And it's like, come on, you're just admitting that you want to get into a gunfight in a very public place where nothing has ever gone. Even if you delete the post, there can be screenshots of it. There are people who troll those groups who are just looking for somebody to nail to the wall because they ran their mouth. So keep that in mind. You do what you want. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't say. I just want you to use your head for more than growing hair before you say it out there, or hold the cool Sandhill shooter hat. So yeah, that's a very good comment from Blitz. Now, Two Live Moo wants to know our thoughts on this. Does Nebraska honor carry insurance, and what our thoughts are on carry insurance? And let me just do this here real quick, because I have got, let's see. I'll cover up my member number. I am a USCCA member. Yes, Nebraska is completely okay with concealed carry insurance. I picked USCCA just because of, as I was looking over their coverages and things like that, they seemed like exactly what I was looking for. I don't remember now the exact rates. I think for both of us to have coverage, we pay about $60 a month. It's like 45 and 15 or something like
Yeah,
that for
it's
rates.
somewhere right around in there.
48 and 12. Anyway, the two people combined is about $60. So it splits about $30 each. We both have our permit, so it makes sense. And this is good for actually any self-defense. It's not only limited to firearms. So if you somebody comes into your home and you happen to grab a bowling trophy and defend yourself, or a kitchen knife or whatever, it isn't just for when you fired your firearm. But I think with USCCA you get and for the $60 we're the top of the line platinum, I think, membership. I think is how, I don't even know how they break them down. I think it's like silver, gold, and platinum.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
I've got we've actually got a friend. He's been on the podcast before. Brad Peterson. He's an instructor in the Omaha area, and he's the area rep for USCCA. And we were actually members before we ever met him. So he wasn't the one that got us into it, but it's really it's nice to know that I actually know the rep in the area. If I have any questions, he can get me answers right away. But also with my coverage, I think it's up to $250,000 in legal expenses covered. No questions. Well, it's not no questions asked, but here's what happens if I ever have to use my firearm and defend my life or my family's life or whatever is the case, then I call 911, obviously. And then I hang up and I call USCCA. I tell them, hey, I just had to use my firearm. The police are on their way. Here's my membership number. Get somebody on the way, and they will send an attorney. They don't just call around and say, hey, there's an attorney, that's 20 miles away. We're just going to send him or her over and hope that they know what they're doing. No, they have attorneys on staff who actually know how to defend somebody in the case of a self-defense shooting. And so you'll get not only a good attorney, but an attorney who knows the situation and knows about defending you and knows the right advice to give. So whether it's USCCA or US Law Shield, or I know NRA had theirs that they had insurance for about a hot minute and then it disappeared. It's just, I think it's a great idea. It's right up there with training. I mean, if you're going to take the time and the effort to become a legal concealed carrier, then you owe it to yourself and everybody around you to not only learn how to use the tool that you've chosen to defend yourself, but also to make sure that you've got a fighting chance in court, right? Because we all know as gun owners, the courts aren't really for us. They don't look on us with high esteem.
No.
If they can make an example out of us and deter other people from using firearms, they will do that at the drop of a hat. So I think it's a great idea to have. So out there in the chat, let's see, what are people saying? On the Facebook side, John says he and his wife carry Texas Law Shield. What else is going on out there?
I'll chime in on that a little bit too there, John. My mom and dad are going to be getting their concealed carry, and I turned them on to USCCA. And just because, like you said, I did hunting around at a couple different places, and it just seemed to fit me the best for the amount of money and everything and their coverage. So I'm really leaning on them right now to, as soon as they do get their concealed carry, to get some kind of insurance just to cover them just in case. Now, like where we live out in the middle of nowhere, you would think we would be fine, but I just about had to use my firearm here about 3-4 months ago, that as you know, John. And so even in podunk nowhere, yep. you just never know. So because exactly. little piece of paper that gives you the right to conceal carry comes with a great responsibility. Because
Yes, it does. Thank you, Uncle Ben.
once that bullet leaves the gun, you better make damn sure that that person deserved it.
That's right. That's right. And I mean, think about this too. Every bullet that goes down that barrel is going to cost you roughly $100,000 in court bills between potential bail and anything else, lawyer fees, retainers, all that stuff. You're looking at about 100 grand per trigger pull. So
Yep.
even with my coverage with USCCA, $250,000, $250,000, may or may not be enough to cover my expenses. I may still have to pay out of pocket if I ever have to actually use that. But it's like any other insurance. I have it, and I hope I never need to use it, because I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Double A says he's single. He pays less than 30 a month for USDCA, and he's about to be an affiliate for them as well. That's awesome.
Nice.
Who said that he and the missus both have it, and he's just happy that we reinforced that decision. I think it's a great decision. It doesn't have to be USCCA. I don't get anything for plugging them. It's just who I use. Okay. If you use one of those others and it gives you just as good a coverage, then good, do that. I don't care if you have State Farm or Progressive or Geico or the General. As long as your car's covered, if you hit me, then we're good. Right. So I don't care who your insurance is, as long as it's good. Blitz says he's been with USCCA about 4 years now with no regrets. G23 makes a good point. You don't have to concealed carry to have USCCA or any of those others. Just general defense insurance. It covers you wherever you are, even if you have to defend your property or whatever, anything like that. Defense Dad says he uses US Law Shield. So, yeah, I mean, just if you're going to concealed carry, or if you're going to have firearms, even if you just plan on ever defending your home, if it needs defended, or defending your person, if you would ever need to be defended, then get something that's going to cover you, because I don't know anybody out there, or very many people out there in the chat. I don't know their financial situations, but I'm guessing there's not a lot of people that have $250,000 sitting around to just throw into court. They don't have anything better to do with it. So,
yeah, there goes my house.
Right? Geez, no, that's my house about 3 to 4 times. So yeah.
Yeah,
Craig over there on the Facebook side has a question that's off topic. You know what? I think we'll take some time and cover that, Craig. So I do see you. Don't let me forget later on when we get done with the sheepdog stuff. I do want to kind of talk about that a little bit. So, hey, the ghost with the most is out there. Let's see. Yeah, gun loving grandpa. Buck, you make a good point as well. After the court case is over, you still have civil lawsuits, and your insurance will cover that as well. Depending on the state, some states, I believe, don't allow for civil suits if you are acquitted in a criminal court, or if you're not tried in a criminal court. But Nebraska is not one of them. So whether or not you're tried in a criminal court, whether or not you're convicted or acquitted of any criminal offenses, you could still have a wrongful death suit or something else from the family in a case like that. So yes, you're covered there as well with the legal side of it. So let's see. Blitz is agreeing with Double A. What did Double A say up there? Oh, he said that he concealed carried for about 10 years before he joined USCCA. After all that has happened in the last couple of years, he figured he better do it. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just why, if you can afford it, then do it. And honestly, if you can scrape together the $30 or whatever a month to have the coverage, I mean, I don't think you can afford not to in a case like that. If you ever plan on taking care of business should the need arise. And I don't know the right way to delicately word that. Nobody wants to go looking for trouble, but sometimes trouble finds you, and sometimes you can't get away from it, right? And so, I mean, it goes back to that sleeping dog thing. Leave me alone, and I'm never going to use my firearm in anger. But if I'm backed into a corner and I don't have any other option and there's no way out of that corner but to fight my way out, then, God give me the strength to be a honey badger in that case. Because, if I die, I won't die as a victim, and I won't let anybody who's with me die as a victim as well while I'm still breathing. So, or well, I not as long as I have the ability to fight anyway, then I will do that. Patriot wants to know if the insurance will reimburse you for the $1 million it costs to buy defensive ammo. No, unfortunately, it will not. No, I wish it would. However, I have a plan for that. Patriot's going to be exempt from this.
I'm all ears on this one.
but here's my plan, because ammo has gotten so expensive. I'm going to again release a set of nude pictures of myself posing with my various firearms for $5. Then you can get the set of pictures for $50. I will not send them to you. So that's how that's going to work. I'll let you know what it's just paypal.me/Sandhills shooter. Send me the $50 and I will not send you the nudes.
Is that reverse blackmail?
It could be extortion. I don't know what it's called, but it's called ammo's a buck around right now.
Oh, we have fun.
Yes, we do. So, no, great stuff. So, out there on the chat side, before we switch gears, does anybody have anything else that you want to say or questions you want to ask as far as just the concept? Does everybody, I mean, what's the general consensus? Are you sheepdogs or are you sleeping dogs? Because I don't think I'm a sheepdog. I'm not looking to go protect a whole bunch of people. I just want left alone, and I want everybody that's with me left alone. So for some of you that maybe came in a little bit later, what are your thoughts? Are you a sheepdog or are you just a sleeping dog who wants left alone? Are you John Rambo who just wants something to eat and the sheriff won't leave you alone? And gosh, once you back somebody into a corner, you'll find out what they're made of. I'm not saying I'm John Rambo. Gosh, that'd be cool. But at the same time, I mean, all he wanted was left alone too. And that whole town had to pay for it when he didn't get left alone. So be careful which bear you poke, I guess is all.
That'd be the extreme edition.
Where did I miss? Where'd that comment? Oh, there it is. Defense Dad said, speaking of insurance, let's see, it was U.S. Law Shield that Defense Dad said he goes through. He's used their free legal advice line a few times. Great customer service, quick responses. So that's something to keep in mind too, is you get legal advice. If you just have questions, things like that, then that comes along with your membership dues or premiums, whatever you want to call it. So Jackers out there says USCCA is great. If you live in Washington State, you're up a crick. That's true. They don't allow for, I don't know if it's all carry insurance or just USCCA. I think New Jersey's another one. There are certain states where USCCA can't do business. Thankfully, Nebraska isn't one of those. So, and I think most everybody who's in the chat out there lives in a place where at least one of these services is available. So,
well, I sure hope they do anyway. Ghost Tactical says, I'm a grumpy old bloodhound sleeping on the porch. When I need to, I can make some noise. I like that.
That's awesome. That's not a bloodhound that I saw on Facebook today, though, Ghost. That was she's either a shepherd or a Malinois. I didn't see which.
Looks like a German shepherd to me.
Is she a shepherd, Ghost? Let me know out there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I understand we don't have a ton of people watching tonight anyway. And if I lose a bunch of you because we're about to switch gears and talk about something that only affects Nebraska, then I understand. I get it. But here's the thing. There was an online, I think I want to switch the word to virtual. We're going to start calling it a virtual town hall meeting. That I was able to host last night for Nebraska Firearms Owners Association. Pat, I did see you out there
Yep,
make
I
some comments.
watched the
How
whole thing.
you
That
thought it.
was a very good show, by the way, John. Thank you for doing that.
I tell you what, I'm glad that I'm able to. I don't want to pat myself on the back here, but I do have a couple skills, and one of them is running my mouth, and so I'm glad that we could use that for the good of the organization. So that was kind of nice. We're going to actually plan another one. I don't have it officially up and posted yet, but we're going to plan another virtual town hall for Monday night next week because a couple things are coming up. First off is next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, February, what is that? The 24th. It's now last night. It wasn't officially announced. Today it has been announced that the hearing for LB 188 and I just lost all my notes. There were two bills that are not going to judiciary in Lincoln. They're going to the what is it?
Was it the Veterans
Government,
Affairs
Military, and Veteran Affairs Committee, I think is what it's called.
Yep.
And so one of them is LB 188. That is the Adopt the Second Amendment Preservation Act bill. What that would do is, if it's passed, it would make it illegal for any state actor or any subdivision thereof to be forced into enforcing any kind of federal law pertaining to firearm accessories, or ammunition that is deemed unconstitutional and isn't already included in either the U.S. Constitution or the Nebraska Constitution, Article 1, Section 1. So what that comes down to is it doesn't mean anything as far as prohibited people could then possess a firearm. If you're prohibited, you're prohibited. If if it's a full auto, the same laws apply. A suppressor, the same laws apply, everything like that. But if we would have like an assault weapons ban or a magazine capacity ban or things like that, basically anything that's been listed in HR 127, anything like that infringes upon the rights as listed in the U.S. Constitution and the state constitution, then it would mean that the feds would have to be the ones to come and enforce that. They cannot require anybody in the state of Nebraska to do that, whether it's state, county, local law enforcement, or anybody else in the Justice Department, prosecutors, anybody like that. And so it's kind of like, the way I understand it, it would be kind of like decriminalizing marijuana use, where it's still a federal offense, but only the federal agents can enforce it in a state that has decriminalized that. You can't say legalized it. So it would basically do the same thing, provide the same kind of exemptions, and it would make it illegal for anybody who is a state employee or county or local government employee to enforce that. So the feds couldn't come in and enforce state patrol or the county sheriff's department or anybody like that to enforce these laws. And the idea being, number one, we protect the sovereignty of our state and her rights, but also there's just not enough ATF and FBI agents to go around. And so chances are then you're going to let the small fish go and only work on the big fish. And it's going to be one of those situations where, a lot of states are doing something like this. We have yet to see any legal precedent. We have yet to see one of these states be challenged by the federal government, for anything like this. But the more states that do it, the more precedent that it sets. So LB 188 is the one in Nebraska that's coming up next Wednesday. I think that it's the afternoon session, so it starts at 1:30 in the afternoon. And you can go to nebraskafirearms.org and well, I don't know what all info was up on there. Actually, the best thing to do is just go to nebraskalegislature.gov.
Mm-hmm.
Find the committees, then you can find what room they meet in. You can see all the hearings that are scheduled. There's a calendar even with all the hearings that are scheduled, so you can go check that out. But the other thing that's happening a week later, March 3rd, we're going to have NFOA Day at the Nebraska Capitol, because there are a ton of bills that are going to be heard by the Judiciary Committee. And one of those, the big one that everybody is buzzing about, is called LB 300, and that it clarifies and strengthens what we have existing for castle doctrine in Nebraska. And the way that Nebraska works, for anybody who's listening who's not in Nebraska, we don't have stand your ground. We do have castle doctrine, and there's a difference between the two. Stand your ground means if you're out on on a street corner waiting for the crosswalk light to change, somebody comes up and tries to hurt you or something like that. If you can run away, then you are legally obligated to do so. Or if not, you have to prove that you couldn't get away. And if you use deadly force to keep yourself from getting killed, then the burden of proof isn't on the prosecution. The state doesn't have to prove that you could have gotten away. You have to prove that you couldn't, which is not the way it's supposed to be. Due process includes the burden of proof being on the prosecution. The defense does not have to prove they didn't commit the crime. The prosecution has to prove that the defendant did. And that's the way that it's always been, and that's the way it's designed. Right now in Nebraska, that's not the case if you use deadly force and you're not in your home or your place of work. Those are the only two places where castle doctrine's in effect. If you're in your own home, you don't have to run out the door before you resort to deadly force to defend your life or your virtue or your freedom. If you are at work, you don't have to flee. If you work in a convenience store and you're the only one working the night shift and somebody comes in, tries to rob you and points a gun at you, if you're legally able to possess a firearm and you shoot them before they shoot you, then that is justifiable in the state of Nebraska. You didn't have to run out the door and leave the store unguarded. Okay. But let's say that you're in your car. You're out of the door, you're in your car, you're heading to work, and you've got a disgruntled ex. Maybe it's a lady who has a restraining order perhaps against an ex-husband. He doesn't like that. He's very angry with her. He sees her stopped at a red light and goes over to the car and opens the door, reaches in and tries to pull her out to talk to her. That if she can get away, she's still legally obligated to try and flee the scene before she can resort to deadly force in a case like that. So LB 300 does a couple different things. Number one, it extends castle doctrine to your vehicle as well, whether it's your car or somebody else's car that you're riding in. I don't yet know how if it pertains to public transportation, because some public transportation is prohibited anyway from possessing a firearm. So you'd have to look at local statutes for some of that. But that's the first thing it would do. It would include your vehicle in places where you don't have to try and flee before you're justified in using deadly force if it warrants it. I'm not saying it's a license to kill. I'm just saying that if you don't have another option, you don't have to prove that you couldn't get away. The next thing that it does, if you are same thing, but the next instance would be if you're, driving and you take a wrong turn and you go down a block where there's, a mob and a riot happening and people crowding around you and start, trying to break your car window and drag you out, then again, you are justified in a case like that because your car would become part of the castle. Two big things that it really does. The biggest thing that it does is it moves the assumption of I can't remember all the legal terms. Right now, the state assumes that you could get away, and you have to prove that you couldn't. So what LB 300 does is it creates a rebuttable assumption that you couldn't get away. The state has to assume that you couldn't, and they have to prove otherwise in order for you to be charged with, violating a law here. So that's really nice because it puts the burden of proof back onto the prosecution where it belongs, and you don't have to try and prove a negative. The other thing that it does is when you are in your home, workplace, or your vehicle, then it also creates a rebuttable assumption that anybody who forces their way inside has an intent to kill or cause bodily harm or kidnap or rape. If you kick somebody's door in right now, you can't assume that, or if somebody kicks your door in, you can't legally assume that they're there to hurt you. But if LB 300 gets passed into law, then the assumption is that if somebody breaks into your home, then you can operate on the assumption they're there to hurt you. You don't have to run away, and you can meet them with force if you need to. Now, I'm not going to get into a discussion on what's justifiable between, shooting an unarmed person who came in the door, or any of that. That's a different night's discussion, but that's the big one that's coming up on March 3rd. So next Monday night, the 22nd, we're going to have another virtual town hall where we're going to talk about where to go and find those hearings. All that kind of stuff. And then also we're going to talk about if you want to craft a letter or an email, how to do that. Excuse me, what to say. Some of the stuff that we didn't really have time to get into last night. So I didn't really get a chance to read all the comments. I was just mostly looking for questions last night as the comments were flying through. Just a lot of people were watching and commenting. Did you have any comments or questions on those two or any of the others, Pat? But predominantly those two. Those are the two, headline grabbing bills that are coming out this year.
Yeah, I think I got most of my questions answered last night. Actually, my big thing was right before we had the supposed red flag thing about ready to hit a couple years ago on how to actually get a hold and craft a letter and everything and get it sent off to the right people in the right places, when all that went down. But that was kind of a refresher course for me the other night, just so that way I could remember on who I needed to get contacted and who the letters and everything needed to get sent to, so I could voice my opinion, because obviously I'm right in the middle of calving season, so I'm definitely not going to be there.
Nope, I totally get that too, and I'm not going to be able to make it both days down to Lincoln.
Yeah,
I did know about the NFOA day on March 3rd in time to get that day requested off. And my schedule for March is out, so I do have. We got our schedule a whole month at a time, and I've got to have days off turned in by the 15th of the month before. So if I didn't have a request in by February 15th, then there's no guarantee I can get it off in March. And once the schedule comes out, it's got to go through about 3 different levels of managers before we can get approval to change anything. So unless I really, 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 really need to, and it's life or death, then, or in my case, it's a doctor appointment or something medical, then obviously they'll make it so.
Right.
But aside from that, I can't make it on February 24th down to Lincoln, much as I'd like to. It's not in the cards. So I will be doing my part, either a handwritten letter or typed up so it's legible and then hand signed, or an email, or both. I guess I can't submit both and have them both be on public record. I have to choose. So I'll see which way is going to be the best. Probably email, because I know it's going to get there on time, because there are deadlines to get it included in the minutes. But I'll be doing that. But I do plan, Lord willing and the roads are good, on going to Lincoln on March 3rd and being part of NFOA Day. So, I mean, we're gonna wear the stupid masks as much as we hate them, and go there, and we'll do whatever requirements there are to social distance or whatnot. But I do plan on giving, testimony in person that day for those bills.
Awesome.
So I've got some homework. I've got some homework in not quite just I guess right at 2 weeks to get my words figured out and typed up and printed out, so I don't make a complete fool of myself, and I'll be like Iron Man. I'll stick to the cards this time. So, but that's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a really, really fun experience, and as these bills go to committee, there are some things that we want to stop if we can. There are things that we want to go ahead and push through committee so they get to the Senate floor. So we'll see how that stuff works, but should be an interesting day, and it should be a learning experience for me. I've never been involved in the legislative process before, so I guess we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I wish I could definitely join you there that day for sure.
That's all good. I don't know that I'll get time to do any kind of live streaming. We'll see what happens. I won't be able to obviously live stream from the committee room, the chamber room there, but from the Capitol lobby or outside, if it's not too cold, we'll see what we can do, and at least if I can at least get some sort of a video out that just kind of shows how many people showed up, that's going to be awesome. So any Nebraskans that are hearing my voice right now, if it's not yet March 3rd, 2021, when you're listening to this, we need you. We need your help. Come on out if you can get to Lincoln and come to NFOA Day at the Capitol. You can get that event. There's a Facebook event that's actually made on the NFOA page, so you can go check that out if you want the details, or just email me and I will get the details to you the best I can. Sandhillsshooter@gmail.com. So you can do that as well. One other thing I want to talk about tonight, and this is nothing to do with Nebraska legislation. This is nothing to do with sheepdogs or sheep or wolves. This is nothing to do with concealed carry insurance or anything. But I've kind of got mixed emotions tonight. Norfolk, Nebraska, the town where I live, has had a mask mandate. It was set to sunset at 11:59 p.m. on February 16th. That's today. They actually had a city council meeting tonight. They live streamed it. I watched it on YouTube, and I didn't see the beginning, so I had to go back and watch the beginning because that's where they talked about the masks, the mask mandate. But they didn't even have a vote to extend it. They just the mayor who was presiding over the city council meeting said, it's set to sunset. We do recommend that you still follow all the guidelines. Now, here's the thing. The mask mandate doesn't actually end until another not quite 2 hours from now, 11:59 p.m. Central Time. So as I'm sitting there watching this on YouTube, and they're zoomed in on the mayor, I can see that his mask is under his nose. And the mask mandate clearly states that the mask must be worn over the mouth and the nose at all times in a public building. He was in the city council room. That's a public building. He should have gotten fined $25 for this. Nobody made a big deal of it. I believe that I think there's police on hand at city council meetings. They should have mentioned that. Nobody told the mayor to pull his mask up over his nose, and I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is the blatant hypocrisy. Why bother with a mask mandate to begin with if we're not going to enforce it? Which we're not. I haven't heard of anybody getting hit with a $25 fine yet for not wearing a mask. I've pretty much gone, even before the mask mandate ended, I pretty much have gotten into the habit of having it in my pocket. And if somebody asks me to put it on in their store, then I will, because I'm not a complete jerk. But if you're not going to require it, I'm not going to wear it. And not even the mayor thinks that masks are fun to wear up over your nose, obviously, all the time. And if he can get away without wearing it correctly, then we all can get away without wearing it correctly, I think. So clearly, this is a case in my mind of what's been good for the goose needs to be good for the gander. And even though this mask mandate is sunsetting and I don't have to wear it into public buildings tomorrow, legally, then, if they ever try this again, people are going to laugh in their face from 6 feet away. Hopefully. But anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest because it pissed me off.
I don't blame you. I've been the same way too, John, because when we went to go sell calves and stuff up there in Kearney, you know, everybody's had their mask mandates and everything through the whole Tri-Cities and everything out this way. And it's like, yeah, I've got it in my pocket, but all the places that I've been and everything, nobody has stopped me. Nobody has said put it on. I think most Nebraskans here are fed up and tired with it because they do see all the hypocrisy going on in Washington and all across the United States. So it's like, okay, if you guys aren't going to do it, then why should we? And most Nebraskans are pretty smart about, okay, if I'm sick, stay at home. Don't cough on everybody. When you go to the bathroom, wash your hands just like you normally would.
Wash your hands. Don't touch your eyes.
Exactly.
Still the best ways to not get COVID. The first two things they told us before they knew anything about this bug are still the best ways to kill it.
Yep.
Use soap.
Not 2, not 3 masks, just common sense hygiene.
Oh, I did find a picture on Facebook. I posted it on my Sandhills shooter page on Facebook that Fauci's now recommending that you should just live inside a box of masks. In fact, if you can live inside 2 boxes of masks, it's even better. So just never go outside the box of masks is actually the best thing to do. Now, let me clarify this for anybody who's wondering out there. I'm not upset that the mayor's not wearing his mask right. I don't think he should have had the thing on to begin with, or had to have it on. I'm not upset with people wearing a mask. I don't oppose wearing a mask. And if I'm in somebody else's business or somebody else's home and they ask me to do it, I've got 2 choices: either put it on or be a jerk. And if they ask me to leave if I won't put it on, I've got 2 more choices. I can either put it on or I can criminally trespass. Or I can leave. I guess 3 choices. So I'm not saying that wearing a mask is bad, and anybody who wants to do it, please do so. If that's what you want to do,
right,
then put on the mask. I don't care. The problem that I have, and I've never really explained this, and I've never really thought it out into words before, but the problem that I have is you're going to require a mask. Now, masks aren't that expensive. And I've actually paid for several because my company requires me to wear one at work, whether or not the city does. So I've got several different neck gaiter masks, and I've got a few ear loop masks as well. They're easier for a restaurant, if you have to have the thing on, to just pop it on and pop it back off rather than pull something clear over your head. And I don't like sitting there eating with the thing around my neck, so I take it all the way off. And it's just a pain in the neck. Not a literal pain, but it's a hassle. So I've got a couple different styles of masks, right? Yeah, thanks, folks. I'm here all week. Wait, staff. No, I've got masks and I'll wear them in places that I don't think that it's worth the fight or anything else. But the issue that I have is, what if I couldn't afford a mask? What if I'm literally broke? I haven't been to work in months. I don't have the extra money even to go out and buy a mask. Now, I have to go find somebody who's willing to give me a mask, right? Or I have to find, a business who has them to hand out to their customers, because the mask, when you have a mandate, turns into a permit. You're required to spend money to buy this permit. The permit is shaped like a face covering in this case. It's not a little laminated card that you carry in your pocket. But it's a permit nonetheless. It's a permit to live your daily life and go about your normal daily tasks. And that's the problem that I have, is being asked to purchase a permit in order to live. If I want to go outside my home and go into a public building, then I've got to spend money in order to do that, when I've never had to before. And you can call it what you want, but I'll have words with anybody who sees what I'm saying and still disagrees with me. The mask is a permit now. If you have a mask mandate, now if it's your choice, then go ahead and choose to do it. I'm all about you choosing to wear a mask or choosing not to. I'm fine with that. But don't tell me that I'm required to have it and then not issue me one. And I don't want to have to pay for it. And if you use taxpayer money to buy those masks and issue them out, then I have paid for it. And so have all my neighbors, and they shouldn't have to pay for my mask either. So we're back to a catch-22 where that's the biggest reason I have an issue with a mask mandate. It's not about the mask. The biggest issue I have with the bump stock ban is not about the bump stocks. It's about the fact that the government is overreaching, and all of a sudden they're requiring a permit to go do my daily business. I have to show my permit. I have to show proof that I am in compliance with the law before I'm allowed to go shop. Now, granted, it's not been a big deal because it hasn't really been enforced. I'll give you that one. So, number one, it was stupid to begin with. If we're not going to enforce it, why have it on the books? Number two, I think it sets a bad precedent because now in the future, they will see, hey, this is really easy. We can get people to do whatever we tell them to do if we just make it a mandate. The potential for this to be abused down the road is still too high in my mind. It's just a mask. Okay, yeah, it's just a mask. Can turn into, within a generation, it's just a boxcar. It's just a tattoo. It's just a number on your arm. It's just a camp. Whatever. It's just a shower. And if anybody thinks I'm being morbid here, I don't care. I'm not saying that masks are tantamount to concentration camps and gas chambers. What I'm saying is, if left unchecked, a government who's allowed to do whatever they want to its citizens can very easily, within a generation, turn into that. It's just like I've said before, Biden can say all that he wants to say, and I honestly don't think that he has any ill intentions of actually hurting anybody. I think that the things that he's saying about guns, he honestly believes they're going to work. I'm not saying that they will. Obviously, I disagree with that. But I think that he means well. He doesn't have bad intentions. But the problem is, if we set this precedent, it leaves the door wide open. No, I honestly believe that he believes what he's saying. If he knows what he's saying, I believe that he believes what he's saying.
And he's also running for U.S. Senate.
Well, that could be.
Sorry, I had to throw that one in.
All he knows is that he has mittens too, but nobody wants to talk about them. That was still my favorite meme of all, was Biden looking out the window with a sad face going, hey guys, I have mittens too.
That was pretty good.
No, but all kidding aside, I honestly believe that Biden honestly believes what he's saying. Okay. But what about the next president or the one after that? If we set the precedent, if we set the precedent now that we're willing to be disarmed, we're willing to let things be taken away, then down the road, we've just made it that much easier to be rounded up and put into boxcars. And nobody can tell me 100% with certainty that that'll never happen. Now, do I think that anybody in the current administration wants to put people on boxcars? No, absolutely not. I don't think even Kamala, I don't think wants to round people up and put them in boxcars and send them to concentration camps and kill them. I don't think that.
They just want to deprogram.
They do want to deprogram, and in the interest of not saving you from the brainwashing, they want to brainwash you. Yes, but what I'm saying is, these people who think think that they have your best interest in mind, because you can't make your own decisions. You're not smart, obviously, so you need them to tell you what to do. They think they've got your best interest in mind. They honestly believe that, or some of them do. Most of them do. But the thing is, I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about the ones that come after that. I'm not worried about Bernie Sanders getting socialism in this country. I'm worried about the afterburn, as Chad Prather says it. He was never worried about the burn. He was worried about the afterburn. What happens when Bernie Sanders is gone and we've got, another Che Guevara or what's the guy down in Venezuela? I can't think of his name right now. Who has resorted to breaking people's civil rights left and right, just to keep some semblance of a government going, just to keep his power. So the potential for things to go south Yeah, it's just a mask today. But, your kids may be looking at something way more serious than a mask mandate because we didn't say anything now. And I'm not willing to do that. I might not get anything accomplished, and you might think I'm nuts, and maybe you'll tell me to grab my tinfoil. It's still right up here. I've got it within reach. My tinfoil hat's got a chin strap. It's very fancy. And maybe I hope I'm paranoid. I do. I hope that I'm just blowing smoke and spouting off, and maybe my theories are just as crazy as the acid rain turning the frogs gay. But I don't think they are. I don't think that I'm completely coming out of left field here. I think that the potential is there to see some very, very terrible misuse and abuse of power. And if that happens, it's not going to be because I didn't say anything. So maybe I'll get on a list. Maybe I'll be one of the first ones that they come to visit. I don't care. If I disappear, then you'll know my mouth got me into trouble. But I'm just saying that this stuff is more serious than anybody thinks. These gun laws right now, they only affect gun owners. But again, what people don't stop and think is what happens after that goes into effect. If we can trample on one right, we can trample on all of them. If we can say it's in the best interest of society to strip one right away, then we can turn around and say, well, it's also in the best interest of society to strip away your freedom of speech. And then you can get put in jail for things that you say if you speak out against the government. And again, if you think I'm kidding, go watch V for Vendetta. That's exactly the world that they're living in. People use their words. And don't get me wrong, I still believe the pen is mightier than the sword. I think the First Amendment is stronger than the Second. And words can be way more damaging than bullets. I totally believe that. But the Second Amendment is what keeps the first from falling. And if it's gone, then there is no more freedom of speech. There's going to be more hate speech laws. Things will get determined to be hate speech or microaggressions. They'll get you put into jail. And anybody that doesn't think that's true really needs to take a little bit of a look around the world and look at history. Yeah, Craig, you're not wrong. Out on Facebook, Craig says freedom of speech is already being taken from us. Well, but again, that's because as a society, we're letting it happen. So there's something needs to be done. I'm just saying that at some point you've got to just stop, right? You've got to say, hey, I'm not willing to budge on this. Not one more inch. It goes back to the what's the post that I put up here a while back? The Captain America quote. And again, I can't. We're gonna actually next week. We're gonna talk about that. I won't get into it too much tonight. But in Captain America: Civil War, when Peggy Carter dies and Cap's at her funeral, and her niece Sharon steps up to give the eulogy, who is Agent 13. Cap doesn't realize until that moment that they're related, but she gives that eulogy and she says, Peggy Carter had told her once that compromise where you can, where you can't, don't. Even if everybody is telling you that you're wrong, even if the whole world says that what is right is actually wrong, it's your obligation to plant yourself like a tree. Even if the whole world is telling you to move, you have an obligation to plant yourself like a tree, look them in the eye and say, no, you move. And if we don't do that, then what kind of world are we leaving for our kids and our grandkids? I mean, if you're not willing to have those uncomfortable conversations, if you're not willing to call a little bit of attention to yourself, then I don't want to hear any bitching later when things got worse than you ever thought they would. So, I mean, we complained about mask mandates and stay-at-home orders and everything else for the last year. They haven't been deemed unconstitutional yet. But there are people who are being, civilly disobedient, I guess, who are willing to compromise in some areas, but not in others. So next week, we're going to talk about that. If everything works right, we should have Rob Pincus in with us, who has some unique perspectives on places where you can compromise, places where you can't. So that should be fun. I think it'll be an interesting, thought-provoking conversation. So that's
definitely.
So
yeah, because if you do not stand for our rights today, they may not be there tomorrow.
Indeed. All right. Well, then I think it's time to just wrap things up and call it a night. I actually ran my mouth a long time tonight. So, do you have anything else you want to mention before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I will mention something here shortly. If any of this stuff is going on in your state, and I know we've had a lot of different people from a lot of different places in and out of here over the last, ever since I've been on your podcast anyway, from around the United States and from other places. Just stay aware of what's going on in your state and just stand up and try to get involved. Whether it's writing letters or getting involved in a group or something, or just try to do something. Something is definitely better than nothing. So if you can do a little bit of something to help reinforce the rights that our Creator had endowed us with, then try to do something. So that way something is left for the next generation that's coming up.
Absolutely. All right. Before I wrap this up, a couple comments I do want to address out there. And 7.
Okay.
I might piss you off when I say this. If I step on toes, then I'm not sorry. 7 says, Pincus, seriously? Then he says, you might have a few less viewers. Why? Why? Because you can't handle what he has to say? Because he hurts your feelings? Because he says things you don't agree with? I'm not only going to have people on here who say everything that we agree with. If you can't handle it, then fine, don't watch. I really could care less. This show is about making people think. If you don't like Pincus, don't watch it. Come back a week after. I would love to have you back. But if you think that maybe you can just listen to somebody with a different viewpoint who maybe challenges what you stand for and what you believe, and then have your beliefs challenged, if you think that's a good thing like I do, then I hope you're there, 7. Even if you come to argue with him, come to fight, whatever, I don't care. Do whatever you want. Make all the comments you want. Follow the same rules that we always follow. Keep them clean and classy. But that is, to me, that is just a stupid reason to not watch. If you flat out can't stand somebody, then fine, don't watch. That's understandable. There are people that I won't watch because I don't like them. But if you can't handle somebody who says things you don't like, then you really got no place listening to anything that I say either, because I don't always say things that people like. So I'm sorry, 7, if this offends you. I'm sorry if you feel like I'm calling you out, but I am. Anybody who doesn't want to see Pincus, then you know not to be here next week. But if you can handle your feelers getting hurt, then come on in. Let's have a real discussion, because Rob ain't afraid of people pushing against him either. So let's have an honest discussion. Let's get these ideas out in the open, talk about them, and let people make their own freaking grown-up choices about what they want to think. So I'm sorry. You might not have meant to piss me off, 7, but it just rubbed me the wrong way when I saw that. And partly just because I don't feel the best tonight, and I'm not very patient. So again, I hope I haven't pushed anybody away, but if you did, if that's all it took, bye. Okay, so on a happier note, again, I want to thank this week's sponsor for letting us go live on Facebook and YouTube tonight. This week's episode is sponsored by Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Riding Shotgun with Charlie is a great interview show that brings you right into the heart of intimate conversations where you can be a fly on the rearview mirror. The show's host, Charlie Cook, talks freedom, firearms, and anything related with guests from all over the country. Filmed within the safe confines of Charlie's Stagecoach, which is his car, by the way. It's not an actual stagecoach, but how cool would that be? Passengers open up about their lives and what is on their mind. Riding Shotgun with Charlie is available on YouTube, Gunstreamer, and the OpsLens app, and most popular podcast platforms. Visit Charlie on the web at Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Excuse me. ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com. And be sure to check out his cool swag page with the all-new Riding Shotgun with Charlie t-shirts, stickers, patches, and more. So go check that out, ridingshotgunwithcharlie.com. And again, thank you for your generosity being able to keep us multi-streaming tonight. So, all right. Since I don't have my co-pilot over here, she's not in the she's not in the producer's chair. That means that we don't have the list tonight. I saw a few people over on the Facebook side. We had Craig, we had Donnie. I don't remember who else. Those are the ones that I mostly saw coming through on Facebook. I'll scroll up here as far as I can on the YouTube side. I think we got everybody here. I can go clear to the front. So on the YouTube side, we had Frankie, Gun Loving Grandpa, MKJO, Blitz, the Poor Conservative. And some of these I probably named twice because I forgot I named them. Mike is out there. Pat was out there and in here. 2 Live Moo. Keith Gregory, I see you out there. Vandalistic Vlogs, we talked to him on his lunch break. Patriot in the Dark, 7 Wonders. Keep going here. Agorizer was out there. Defense Dad was in the house. Schofield 63 was in the house. I know there's more. Cal was out there. I'm scrolling. G23. Double A was out there. Armament and Axes. Artak and Daughters came in. Ghost Tactical was out there. Outlaw Whales. Jackers 56. I saw you. That might be most everybody. I did see Ozzy Osbourne. APS made it. Hawaii Volcano Squad. It's got to be almost noon there. I'm kidding. I know it's afternoon. I just know that Hawaii is a long ways earlier than we are here in Nebraska. Grim 90 made it. And I think that is, I don't think I missed anybody. If I did, it's because you didn't have enough people. You didn't have enough comments on there. So people, make sure you drop those comments. All right.
And Gun Loving Grandpa.
Did I not say Gun Loving Grandpa?
I don't think so.
Oh, he was like one of the first. So, Buck, if I missed you, I'm sorry. Yep, Gun Loving Grandpa's out there too. So, all right, let's see here. Patriot says he's waiting for that one hot chick back on the panel. If I can get my wife in here, then I will. But she just doesn't like to be on the camera or be on the panel. So we'll see what's going on. Yeah. 7 thinks hot chick meant Lauren Boebert. I think she's got better things to do with her time than come on my little podcast. Be cool though if we could get her to come talk to us a little bit. That'd be nice. But I
would definitely show up.
Hate Nebraska anymore, Toto. That's true. All right. Well, we're gonna call it. Pat, where can people find you if they want to hear more of what you have to say?
They can find me on YouTube. Have a little channel. It's just Pat Hirsch. And it's been pretty dang cold and pretty dang hectic around here, so I haven't had a lot of time to make any content. But hopefully once the weather warms up just a little bit, I will be doing a little kind of unboxing of a new firearm that I recently purchased here just a little while ago, and maybe doing some ammo testing with it since I've got several different types of rounds to go through it now. So
cool.
Yeah. So, other than that, that's where you can find me at.
Tell you what, I saw a video today. I don't know how long it's been out, if it just came out today or if I just am behind times and just found out about it. But I found out Taurus has the Raging Hunter now in 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum. Ooh. And that is a great great platform. I've always wanted a Raging Hunter. I just wasn't sure what I would want it chambered in, really. Because I've already got a 357 and I don't know if I really want a 44, but that 460 can shoot 454s. It can shoot 45 Colts. It'll even shoot 45 Schofields if you can find it, according to I think it was Gun Talk Media that had the video up today that I saw, but yeah, that's a sweet looking setup there in 460, and that Raging Hunter has the rail across the barrel shroud, so you can put an optic on it and actually do some hunting with one of those. That'd be cool. So anybody wants to send me a Raging Hunter in 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum, that's totally fine. I will let you do it. I don't even care if it's the all black one, but I prefer the two-tone. But I'll take whatever anybody wants to send me. Just saying. All right. Well, if you're catching this on the replay, thanks for coming back and watching. I want to know your thoughts on anything that we've said tonight. Go ahead and leave those comments down below. Same thing on the Facebook side. So just let us know what you thought, what you if you agree, disagree, have a different viewpoint, anything like that. Go ahead and do so. Catch us on the audio versions, any place that podcasts are now. I think we're pretty much always there now, and I try to get the current week's episode posted by next Monday night always. So on there, we're almost a week behind, but it will be there. So please share the link. Please like this video, this post. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. If you haven't liked the Facebook page, please do. If you're on Facebook, go do that. I think that's it. I think that's the only things that I had left to say. So on behalf of Sandhills Sweetheart, who was not in the room with us tonight, and on behalf of Pat Hirsch, not Lily, and myself, thank you for joining us. You know what I'm going to say? Without you, there's no need to do this. I'm just a fat guy on the internet running his mouth, and nobody would care about that. But the fact is, somebody does. You came, you listened, and if you're here, you stayed for the whole thing, or else you came in late. One or the other. But I appreciate you. I love you, all of you. I don't care if you agree with me or not. I love the fact that you were here. Please like it. Please share it. Go find us on Patreon if you want to. Go find us on Gunstreamer. If you don't like watching stuff on YouTube, you can find us there too. But go find us, share us, and let me know if there's something that you want to dig deeper into from any of these nights. Maybe we can have a whole night's conversation, just peeling back the layers on something that I've said or somebody else has said. But catch us next Monday night on the Nebraska Firearms Owners Association page or the YouTube channel. And I haven't posted a link to the YouTube channel on my YouTube page here or on Facebook, but I will get that done. And I will be I'll be setting up that virtual town hall meeting and getting that up there on the NFOA page on Facebook as quickly as I can, and getting that set up on YouTube as well. So once I have those links, I'll share them as well. I think that's it. Have a great night. Stay warm. Those of you that are in the bitter cold areas in the central U.S., those of you that are on the East Coast and West Coast and deep South, I know you're cold too, because it's like 40 degrees or colder. So thanks for being here. We love you. God bless you. It's time to get off my lawn.